Okay, here we go. Episode 3. What are we getting ourselves into this time? Actually, before diving into that, I want to address something from my last video. If you want added details to the explanation, I pinned a comment on that video, but guys, don't put words in my mouth. I know it wasn't everyone, but too many comments were acting like I called Jelidanka a mean girl, which I never did and never would based on a minute or so of a badly edited survival show. Sorry if I sound annoyed, but I am annoyed. There were even comments implying I was racially targeting Jelly, which is just too far. If we can't all behave, I will just not comment on her at all, whether positive or negative. I was attempting to be transparent, but I'm just gonna move on before this entire video devolves into a rant about something I briefly mentioned. The episode, again, starts with a long intro and recap. This is probably what bothers me the most about watching survival shows when you ignore the editing and all the traditional issues. I just hate show recaps. Doesn't matter what kind of show, but survival shows always take it an extra step by making the recap more dramatic than the episode. The second battle is between the enchanting teams. The winner's team gets Kara's Mister, while the challengers take on After School's Diva. Gotta say, both very good choices. Would be even better if the average age of contestants wasn't so low. Actually, I didn't notice last episode, but they translated this concept wrong. It's more like allure, but that's kind of close to charismatic, and I really don't know how they're going to differentiate these concepts. Honestly, I thought we were getting the Eyes 1v Ujusonyo deathmatch. One thing that really stands out to me is they spend a lot of time focusing on Anshin, but usually when there's someone on the team having a harder time, they'll show another member helping them one-on-one, so at least two people get a good edit. Examples being Sejong and Sohee for Irony on 101, Yen and Fai on Queendom Puzzle, etc. But here they're just focused on showing Anshin trying, and then cut to the girls venting in their rooms, and it feels so targeted against them. I mean, yay for once Chinese trainees aren't being thrown under the bus, but this feels like breaking a cardinal rule of survival shows. As for the performance itself, Park Ye-won caught my attention from the first note, but she did start slipping by the end, and you wanna know why I think that is? They had to all actually sing during the all part, and most debuted and experienced idols don't even do that. It was impressive, but I think it caused their individual parts to suffer, so bad move from SBS. I was also impressed by Narumi's ending. It was very captivating, and I think she showed off some true center potential. The rest of it, yeah. For the challengers, they decided to give Jeon Jin-young, the leader, an actual okay edit. I forgot to mention this last episode, but I appreciate that they show these glimpses of the girls getting guidance from actual dance and vocal, and I think rap mentors, instead of relying on the celebrity judges like most other programs. In the performance, there were no egregious mistakes, I'll give them that, but I do have some issues. First, the positives. Jin-young shows a lot of potential as an all-rounder. Riel definitely redeemed herself and had some of my favorite moments. Oh Yuna started off really strong, especially her stage presence, but faded as the song went on vocally. But the worst crime of all was the vocal coaches giving Yui the main vocal part because she could scream her way up to it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, especially when it comes to singing notes outside of your comfortable range. Challengers take the win, and it is well earned. A 5-0 score also makes sense because I don't think you could be in the judge's position and give your vote to the winner's team and have it be interpreted as anything but pity. After that is the pure team. If they don't start playing some lovelies. Kidding, but also being very serious. And I was immediately satisfied. Winners doing Into the New World, challengers doing Achu. I couldn't ask for a more me-coded matchup. I wasn't really paying attention to the prep time for the winners team, but then, unexpectedly, Jung Ji-won. She started to give up, wondering why she was even there, expressing how uncomfortable the cameras made her, finally turning off the camera in the hotel room, and you know what? Real. As she should. It is not normal for someone to be filming a bunch of teenagers in what is essentially their downtime, and if any place should be a privacy refuge, it should be a bedroom. I know some people are probably thinking, it's a survival show, you should know they have cameras in the dorm/bedroom, but I just don't think they should. Let people rest without turning them into content. All the other stuff is very concerning though. She should talk to someone, but she probably feels like she can't because she doesn't want it to be recorded. They named this episode Tears, and that is so messed up. I can't imagine the mental stress these girls are facing to all be crying so much. It's literally week 1. The performance was really good. I didn't quite catch who it was, but the beginning center absolutely nailed the Yuna smile. However, something I feel this stage highlighted was just how strong the vocalists in pure concept groups tend to be. Like, think of most pure concept K-pop groups. All of them have had some of the strongest vocalists of their generation. The dance break was phenomenal, worthy of being shown in front of the Hyoyeon in my opinion. Lee Sonu did falter a bit, but she pulled through for the main part, and I'll give her flowers for that. I just don't think the show has a lot of main vocalists in general. The challengers don't really set up an individual storyline, which is fine in my opinion, but they use their time to show the dining hall roof, which is okay. But they also become the first challengers team that Yeji and Chaerong visit in this episode. The performance started off really good, but I was caught off guard by the clunky cutting from the intro to the pre-chorus. Disappointing. They were doing alright up until the second verse, and then one mistake threw them all off. However, Kim Himi was a real standout, and then I found out she's Dohwa's sister. Slay. Lee Jinhee and Jang Minju also did good in the beginning, and Jinhee did great as the first center. It's a shame. Jeon Jihin, however, redeemed herself in my eyes. She was very stable and strong in her chorus build-up part. The episode really started dragging out at this point to me. I felt emotionally exhausted trying to keep up with all the dramatic editing, but at least most of the stages were shown. Time management is not something they sought out in their producers, I fear. Winners team take the win, and it could have gone either way to me. After that is the sparkling teams. The winners took Red Velvet's Red Flavor, and the challengers got Oh My Girl's Dolphin. They're revealing in this episode that one of the contestants in Dolphin starred in Yuna's music video. Hello? Whoever's producing this show needs to get fired. The energy for this team is really good though. It makes me relieved that at least the practice was an enjoyable memory no matter how the stage goes. Isn't that something too often overlooked in these shows? The offstage chemistry? Your goal is to debut a group. They should have chemistry on and off stage. On stage, their chemistry wasn't as obvious as the practice room, but Jang Soobin was a nice surprise. She really reminds me of Momoland Jui. Kim Soobin also reminded me of Yua, probably mostly the styling and the song doing the heavy lifting of the association. But I think my biggest standout was probably Noyonu. Her voice was very charming in this stage. Kotoko and Yukino were also heavy on the stage presence, and that made the stage more enjoyable. Overall, I would say this performance had the best balance between members because I really can't just point out one or two as particularly good. See what happens when you have a good vibe going off stage too. So that was the last performance of the episode. Mr. Team got 15 minutes from prep to end of stage, Diva Team got 14 minutes, Into the New World got 19 minutes, Achu got 14 minutes, and Dolphin got roughly 16 minutes, so they were overall pretty even for the screen time per team, but it's very clear which teams got more dynamic intros and which were more tiring. I feel like we could have cut the time enough for Red Flavor to get an intro and go on stage by cutting just 2 to 3 minutes from every team. Not much would be lost, I must say. I'll be catching up on episode 4 and the first eliminations now, so maybe tomorrow, Saturday, we'll have a new video.